Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, my good friends. So thank you so much, guys. We do the heart first. So the first part of the deal is to locate the anterior side of the heart, so that you locate the side that is facing your chest when in the body. So, and we said one of the first things you do is use that interventricular groove, sometimes called interventricular sulcus, and it must be sloping from the top right here to the bottom left to show that this is the anterior side. So in this case, you can see it is sloping from the top right, which is the top right. My heart is a little bit lopsided, I know, because that's how it was squished in the packaging, but it's supposed to be somewhere closer to here, but here you just have to look for it on your own hearts. Okay, so that's the interventricular groove, or interventricular sulcus, if you like. Okay, and then that the second thing that confirms this is the anterior side is this right there, right? Coming from the smaller part of the division by the interventricular sulcus or interventricular groove, you'll find a major blood vessel coming out of that smaller side. Okay, and that is the pulmonary trunk. Okay, so then you know for sure that definitely, if you don't see this right in front, right there, forget it, it's not the right line. Okay, so pulmonary trunk, interventricular groove sloping from top right to bottom left. Now, once we do that, we know that the bigger side will be the left side, and the other side will be the right side. Okay, so this is the pulmonary trunk is taking blood from the right ventricle to the lungs to pick up oxygen. Okay, and if I put a pin here and I'm saying what's that chamber of the heart, okay, then you say left ventricle. Okay, and if I put a pin here and I'm saying what is that chamber of the heart, so I could even do it here or inside, but I could do it here. So this will be the left ventricle, I mean the right ventricle and left ventricle. The left ventricle always includes the apex. Okay, the other structures would be this, which we said is the left auricle, because it's on the left side, left auricle, and then the one on the other side will be the right auricle. Okay, the one on the side where you looked at is the left auricle. So we've identified one major blood vessel, which is the pulmonary trunk, and then we want to identify the other blood vessels. So and the bigger one that is in the middle and it's very elastic, that will be the aorta. Okay, and sometimes you're able to see a branch from the aorta, which is this, and that's the brachiocephalic trunk, and this is the aorta. The big one and the very thick one will be the aorta, and then the branch that comes from the smaller branch will be the brachiocephalic trunk. Okay, but we really need to know the aorta. Okay, the pulmonary trunk. Then we go to the left side, we will probably see maybe it's all cut off. It depends on how yours was cut off, but you can see these are some of the blood vessels. Remember, there's 4 pulmonary veins bringing oxygenated blood from the heart. So this is probably remnants of a pulmonary vein. You just call it pulmonary vein, right? You see, so there you go. So if I put anything on the left side, maybe towards the left auricle, and I'm talking about what's that major blood vessel, you just say pulmonary vein, right? Even though you can't really see the vein coming in all the 4, if it's on the left side and I'm asking for a blood vessel, you say pulmonary vein. Okay, then if I'm on the right side, like this one right here, which is probably the superior vena cava, if it's on the right side and I'm asking about what is that major blood vessel, I don't say vein or artery, I'll just say blood vessel. Then you have to tell me whether it's a vein or an artery. So this one is the superior vena cava. I mean, well, you just say vena cava because sometimes the superior is cut, sometimes the inferior is cut, you don't see it. So you just say vena cava. As long as you're on the right auricle, you say vena cava, and that's it.
That's on the right auricle, right?
That's on the right auricle, yeah, on the right side, right? Because the right side, the vena cava brings deoxygenated blood, and then it goes out through the pulmonary trunk, to the lungs to pick up oxygen. Okay? So we got all the 4 major blood vessels: pulmonary trunk, aorta, and then the pulmonary veins, and then the vena cava. Okay? We've got the interventricular groove, interventricular sulcus, left ventricle, right ventricle, left auricle, right auricle. So we got all the outside parts. And this is what we're calling the base of the heart, even though it's on the top, and this is the apex. Okay? And then you cut from the left side going towards the right ventricle. And then you cut, and then you open. Now we got the internal structures. All right? Okay, excellent. Now, when you cut your heart, you should know that the side that includes the apex, the tip of the heart, that's the left. Remember? Okay, look. Left side. And this is the apex. So when you open your heart, you don't have to keep closing it back up to see which is the left. You can tell, right? Without having to open it. So if I put a pin here, I could do that too and say what's that chamber of the heart. You still say left ventricle. If I put a pin inside here and I say what's that chamber of the heart, you still say right ventricle. See what I'm saying? But I could do it out here too. Or out there. Okay? As long as I'm saying chamber or as long as I'm saying part, then you know what I'm talking about. So this part that divides the left ventricle from the right ventricle, this is the interventricular septum. Okay? Interventricular septum. Okay? So while we are on the left side, what is this valve? If I put a pin somewhere here and I say what is that valve, what would you say? It's on the left side. Bicuspid or mitral valve, right? So I'll ask it exactly. One of the things I didn't show you are these ridges, but I drew them in the picture when I drew them on the board. See these ridges right there? These are what are called trabeculicani. So if I put a pin over here and I'm talking about what are those ridges in that part of the heart, you don't say left ventricle, right? Because I'm asking about ridges. You say trabeculicani. Remember the one I was calling carne asada last time? Okay. So trabeculicani, these ones are grooves that when the heart contracts, it kind of sort of channels the blood to kind of go up. If it's just smooth, when the heart contracts, the blood kind of gets confused, it doesn't kind of know where to go. But these are sort of grooves that channel the blood to go up. Okay, so that's why they're there. So, and these are much bigger, they're called trabeculicani. Then also in the atria, there are these small grooves. You see these small ridges, the smaller ones? So if I put a pin here and I'm asking what are those small ridges, you say musculi pectinati, okay? Or you can say pectinate muscles, okay? So the smaller ridges this is the auricle, remember? The auricle, which is this. And so that's the left auricle, okay? And then there will be the musculi pectinati, and then of course the bicuspid mitral valve, okay? So, and this is the right side. Anyway, you see, this is facing up. You see? This is not facing down. So, and this is going to this pulmonary trunk. So what will be this valve? You see, it prevents blood from going back into the right ventricle. You see how it's facing up like that? So this will be the pulmonary semilunar valve. Okay? Pulmonary semilunar valve. Do you see that? You see how it's facing up? You see how this one is facing down like that? So that blood, when it's pushed in the ventricle, it prevents it from going back into the atria. And this is facing up, you see, look at it. So that means when this ventricle relaxes and blood tries to come back, then it prevents blood. So this will be the pulmonary semilunar valve, because this is the pulmonary trunk, right? Okay, good. So where is the, because of the way I cut mine, my tricuspid is very far. You see it? Look at it. It's gonna be in there. So that's why I want several of you to cut hearts. So if I put a pin in there and I'm talking about what valve is that, you know to say tricuspid valve, right? You see it? You see the tricuspid over there? This one is the pulmonary semilunar valve. And this one in there is the tricuspid, okay? And then also in the right side, you will see this. You see this other stringy-like structure? which is the moderator band. Do you see it? Can you see it in your video?
Yes.
Moderator band. Okay. The other stringy-like structures are these ones that are connected to the cusps, and this is the chordae tendini. Chordae tendini. So if I put a pin here and I'm saying what's that thin stringy-like structure, you say chordae tendini. If I put a pin on here, inside here, and it goes through that, you say moderator band. Remember, it's one that moderates the filling of the right ventricle so that it doesn't pump with too much pressure going to the delicate lungs. Okay? So we got all the valves, and then this is the one from the left side. Again, you see, look at this. This is one is facing up again, and it's coming from the left. You see? So this will be the, which one is this? The aortic semilunar valve. So in the exam, you'd have to be careful when you look at these, you know. You look at the direction it's facing, look how the flap is facing up. So if I put a pin here, then you'd say, and I say what valve is that? You say aortic semilunar valve. So because this is the trunk, aortic, the aorta right there. Okay? And then the one here facing down, this will be the tricuspid, the bicuspid mitral valve. Okay? And then again, trabecular canal, interventricular septum, and I think that's it. And then of course the musculopectinati in there.